I really do love watching those games. Team Supreme came out and looked so damn good. The play from Penta, even though sometimes it didn't work out, there were so many moments in those games that were just brilliant to watch back.
Yeah, Supreme were just Supreme. They were just absolutely insane. And I think a lot of people looked at Supreme like, okay, they're GG well played, put together with School Bus. They must be insane. But people were thinking, okay, they might be a little bit weak. Yeah. But then they proved that they were actually a good team against Penta. So great job.
They certainly did. And before we go into today's games, of course, we have to bring Melly into this one. You were with us as well. Those games were fantastic.
Absolutely, and the community loved it totally. I mean, the support for Team Supreme grew like during the match day. It was really nice to see how even like within 2 or 3 hours how people started to love that team and also consider it as like the top team of the season.
I think that sums it up absolutely perfectly. They are looking absolutely formidable. And speaking of the top team of the season, we do have to kind of look towards what that means for the overall rankings here, because that was a big factor coming into this one, that really they are going to be starting to get towards the top of that table. They are going to be getting these results in the bag, and they have been getting clean victories. Supreme sitting in first, Wooster not far behind, and Virtus Pro in third. It's looking pretty good so far. I
think Virtus Pro, they could be in first. They didn't have that tiebreaker win against Rox. Obviously, they lost a point there, but Rox doing very well. I have to mention them. Kansas Crew kind of slow out the gates, but at least they got a win in there. So, you know, they're doing better than they did last season. And then from there on down, I think we see a lot of teams that have a lot of potential, but they do need to start getting to their stride.
They certainly do. And there's going to be those moments where you look back at the early start of the season, you go, if only they'd gone into that little bit of a, you know, mood a little sooner, if they'd started to get those victories going a little earlier on, they could have made it somewhere. But still, now it's time to look towards today's games. You can imagine what this means to these guys. They need to bring out the very big guns. We've got 3 fantastic games as well, to say the least. Starting off with Ding against Stronk. We saw what Stronk can achieve when it all goes right for them.
I think Ding versus Stronk is actually my favorite game of today. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work out, but I think we'll at least get to see Lakeville. We haven't seen that yet. I think it's going to be fantastic. We've got Virtus Pro versus Synergy. I mean, if that's not an old matchup, I don't know what it is. Remember these guys through Season 1, 2, and 3, back-to-back. Obviously, Synergy won Season 1, Virtus Pro was Season 2. So that's an old matchup. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And then Tornado Rox versus ASAP. It really does depend on if ASAP can actually make some headway in there. What so far has been a very lackluster season.
I can't agree more. But we need to start talking about that first game of the day now, because the teams are getting themselves ready as we speak. But you guys at home now know the 3 games of the day. You can think about the first, and we can give them a little bit of a tidbit before we go to Melee, just so in case they want to get those votes going super early, they can. But if you were going to put your money on one of these 2 teams, you know, you've got Ding out there. Both teams haven't had the smoothest of starts. I think Stronk has been a little better overall. Where do you put that money?
I think I'm going to put it with Ding, just slightly. I mean, apart from that really big upset where they beat No Mercy, their first game, I think they look kind of weak. That's Strong, of course. So I'm not sure, but I would give it towards Ding for sure.
Okay, Melly, if the people out there have their own thoughts on this, they've seen the previous play days, and they've started to, you know, grow accustomed to these teams, how can they get involved with us?
By simply using the hashtag WGLEU over at Twitter. So if you have your predictions set and ready to go, send them out via Twitter by, as said, using that very hashtag to make sure that we can see your tweets. And of course, the other option is heading over to facebook.com/WGLEU, following us, of course, on both of those platforms, and participating in our team vote. And some people already have, actually.
Wow.
So the really early birds have already set their votes, and it's 87% for Stronk.
Well, there we go. Clearly, those previous games that people get to see Stronk in have really brought it home for them. You guys are starting to build up. I know the Polish community is so strong as well. They really are so strong, and they do support their favorite teams here. And your final words, we know the game's almost ready now. We can jump into that any second. If we've got to keep our eyes out on a specific player, or is there anyone who jumps out to you here?
So for Stronk, I'll put it towards Gusio. He's been amazing. I think for Stronk, a little bit questionable if Ojek, the team captain, can actually do something. And of course, Holnick as well. Very good player from Ding.
Well, you've been told what to keep your eyes on. Let's look towards the map, Ruinberg. And welcome in. As said, it will be Ding up against Stronk here. Stronk will start out on the defending side, Ding on the attack. And looking at it so far, what do you gather from these tank lineups in this starting position?
Well, I think we've got a pretty standard lineup from both teams, a mixture of T-54s, AMX 5100s and IS-3s. Of course, the T-37s played by both teams, the Tier 6s. But I think I want to mention that, you know, last time these two teams played, last time Stronk played on the defensive side, they got caught out a little bit by some early aggression. Now, I think that's what Ding is going to do here first as well. They're going very aggressive towards that zero line, trying to get these two T-54s down.
Yeah, and look at that play, though. Butcher coming straight in and taking down the T-37. That's a great start for them. They're massively overwhelming here. These guys are doing great damage. Diplomat is going to be having to be on the back foot, going to walk away pretty darn wounded. He's down so low. I don't know if he can get out of this one. Racing, though, in a 1v3. The crossfire is there. The cap has started, and well, Racing's got to be careful. He's in a very dire predicament now.
Yeah, he's on his own. He's in a hold-down tank, so he should be okay, that T-54. Diplomat's still got 3 shells. I kind of like the way Ding is positioned in towards that eastern side. They struggled a little bit last match day with this eastern side push, but it's going okay for them. They've got to be worried about those IS-3s, of course, but they're continuing to do that damage until Steroids just absolutely mashes Kenny Boy up.
Yeah, Stronk has a vast majority of their tanks towards that eastern village now. Every single member remaining, excluding Racing, is there watching from the side. If Hulk, for example, does try to maybe commit towards Racing or Diplomat, they will be caught on the cross. Mary taking a couple of shells, a veteran name here. It's funny seeing Butcher and Meritorious in a game under completely different tags there. But still, Ding very low on HP now. They're looking like they're starting to dwindle. Yeah,
I mean, this is their problem last time. They were always going towards the eastern cap. They were always trying to be in there, and you can see that Strong Siema knows that. They got good positions with those 5100s and the IS-3 as well as the 110. I think if Ding really wants to get into this game, they need to get that eastern village, because they are good in those around the corner firefights, but they're just not there yet. And Strong Siema is slowly but surely starting to encroach out of that cap, doing good damage, and I think this is already game over for Ding.
Yeah, they're down to 1.2k HP. Everyone's looking like a bit of a one-shot here. And, well, Racing's starting to get a little edgy. You can see he wants to make some plays, but never give up in the 110. Will find Hulk first. The T-54 lightweight just gets swept aside, and it looks like Stronk wants to get this round in the bag. Not going to be hesitant towards picking this one up. Never give up. He is going forward, but Diplomat somehow landing that one. I'm not sure how the hell he managed that, but now Racing has to take matters into his own hands. He's starting to look for this, and this should be a matter of time. Stu, 1.1k damage. Nicely done there by him. And quite hesitant to picking up these final 3.
Yeah, I think Strong can just push forwards and finish this one off. They're kind of taking a leaf out of Virtus Pro's book, where they would prefer to wind that cat down to 0, wind that clock down to 0 instead of going forwards and potentially having something unusual happen. But I think they know they can safely dispatch for the rest of the tanks as Percusia and Meritorious go down.
Yeah, Diplomat last man standing. Racing already hitting 2.5k. Very impressive start for him. Considering he was under so much scrutiny early on, he will close this one out, and Stronk with a very strong opening round there. I've got to say, they looked like they were holding the reins so much throughout that game. At one point, it looked quite even, and you saw the teams going backwards and forwards. But what made Strong just edge ahead then?
I think when Racing held that 0 line on his own, you know, he forced Ding to go back in towards that little village area with the rocks and the bushes, and that basically gave Racing just the ability to peek, make the shots, and go backwards again. Then we had the whole Kenny Boy getting absolutely destroyed in the middle with that T-54. Good aggression by Strong coming out of that village. But I think, again, this is the thing with Ding. If they're not in an aggressive situation, they definitely struggle a lot. So I think they need to keep the pressure on, keep the aggression on, otherwise they will start to dwindle.
Yeah, and you brought up a great point then about Racing and his play. Let's take a little look at this again. At the start, he did manage to get over here, and as you said, he's just weathering the storm. He had, what, 2 players extraordinarily close to him. I believe actually someone else did eventually come towards the south as well, and Mary took a couple of shots from it. And it's very impressive he was able to stay out this long. And I guess it does almost warrant players and teams, especially on the defending side, fighting over that southern position if you can have this sort of presence.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also again shows that Ding should be moving away from that eastern village a little bit and maybe looking towards the northern area, trying to go for aggression up there, because this is like the third or fourth time they tried the eastern side push, and it's the third or fourth time they failed miserably. I think this is like the second or third time they failed miserably at it. So I think they need to go back towards the drawing board on that, or they need to overmatch Stronk in some location and try and get that zero line a little bit more down, instead of going for this whole kind of, okay, we're going to push this area, and if it doesn't work out, then we're pretty much have lost the game. Yeah,
it seems a little bit too one-dimensional to my flavor. You know, if they don't win that one exchange, everything else falls apart. Not great, I think. I think they need to certainly work on that. We will be going to Lakeville next if we get past this one. We will indeed at least see one round at minimum on Lakeville, possibly. And Ruinberg again, if required. I don't think we're going to get that far after the start of this round, at least. I can see this being a 2-0, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and I think you got to remember as well that Stronk aren't good on Ruinberg, so it takes two teams who are very average on Ruinberg, and you're probably going to get a 2-2 scoreline altogether.
Yeah, a lot to be said about these two, but it's not just us here. Of course, we need to open up the desk. Melly, how are we doing over there? People were, supporting Stronk. They seemed, quite adamant that they are the favourites, and they've come out and looked actually pretty darn good. Do you think people are starting to really warm up to the newer teams and start to understand who they are?
I mean, the first part of the season is almost over, like the testing phase where the new teams are introduced and no one knows how the players are going to develop over time. And we already saw a couple of Playdays. We now saw the new styles, new teams, and already some favorites, if we're not mistaken. And I think the people at home are picking up on it, and that's absolutely reflecting in those votes.
Oh, 100%. And you see it through Twitter as well with that hashtag WGLAU. People at home love giving them, their thoughts to it. Their kind of match analysis is the way through. I love seeing the almost backseat gaming. I'm like, oh, why did they put that, that tank there? That's so ridiculous. But it's great to see how passionate the viewers are. And if they did want to get some questions through, they can do that as well.
Absolutely. We have two experts here on the desk, and me, of course. And if you have questions, head over to Twitter, use the hashtag WGLEU, and fire them right away, and I will make those two answer your questions. And I also have something very nice prepared for you.
Oh, you're going to show it already?
You
tease them. Don't give them too much.
No?
What is this?
Don't show Ollie.
You know what it is.
He will steal it.
What is this?
I see a Tiger 2.
Oh. Boy, why are we even having him
to
here
be
on
fair,
the show?
anyone watching the show will immediately say what that is. Let's be honest here.
I'll show it completely.
All right, we'll give
just
them
to
the
embarrass
show.
Ollie.
I couldn't say it properly. It's a Tiger 2.
That looks awesome.
105mm gun, mouse swim turret. I think that is. Beautiful little thing. 320 average damage.
So you know when
at least we have a poster that we're going to give away.
Like in like high school days, right? Most guys had like posters of maybe some cars or women. Ollie would have that sat there, just that, nothing else.
I actually used to draw tanks with my brother on the floor at school.
So
not at school, at home.
That's actually an individual piece of art there that's been made.
I drew it earlier today.
Yeah, of course you do. That's why you sit here.
Cheers,
people.
But can people actually win that?
Absolutely, by using the hashtag WGLEU, for example, or by sharing our stream announcements on Twitter and Facebook, just to make sure you share it globally, because only then we can see that you, of course, shared those stream announcement over at Facebook. And the other way is retweeting the stream announcement of today. I will retweet it with my personal account at Melly for you just to see which tweet I mean, to make it a bit easier.
Yeah, gotta keep it clear.
And after that, we're going to give it away randomly amongst everyone that retweeted or shared it on Facebook.
Can we make sure that we watch out for him making new Twitter accounts? Because I know he's going to want that poster. If it suddenly goes missing, we'll know where it's gone. But I believe the teams have maybe had their chance to look at that poster and they want to get back into the action themselves. And here we go. We are back into the game, ladies and gents. Do make sure you do what exactly Melly just said. And while you get that on your second screen, put this one on your first, because here we go. On the defending side again, Stronk going to be locking it down in the northeast. Very slow start for them, holding that one back. The 110 and I3 not moving out too much. And Ding, as ever, looking fairly similar.
Yeah, I mean, they got the 50-100, and that was one of my comments last time we saw Ding on Ruinberg, was that they probably should pick something a little bit heavier. I think that 50-100 provides a lot in terms of firepower up towards that Eastern Village. Again, Ding going for that Eastern cap. They want to get this nailed down at least by the match week 11, as well as those T54s and the T30 and the AMX 3090 even up towards the 0 line. Now, a very passive start from Stronk. You can see that T37 is going to be heading around, and I think that's actually a decent thing. He's going to be able to lock down Meritorious. Even 115 damage begins to actually add up, especially after 5 or 6 shells. Guzio never give up, going hull down in the 110 and the IS3 just to get into positions to stop that cap.
And this seems far more decisive from Ding. It looks like they've tried to speed things up here. They've gained control of that 0 line, something you mentioned before. But Stronk were a little slower off the start. We are seeing that T37 challenging out Meri, but we know Meritorious is a great individual player. And Aojek playing it well, though, really chipping away at him.
It's a bit strange that Aojek's actually playing that T37, but Meritorious goes to the peak and gets punished immediately by those 110 in the IS3.
Oh, that bait and switch almost. Aojek was this, juicy morsel, just to be easily taken down, and a player like Meri is going to go for that. But he does get punished, as you mentioned, by Never Give Up and Guccio just watching that cross, while also keeping control on the cap, who still got, what, 2 players in there currently, the T54 lightweights, and the rest just try and support. They look a lot better set up here, though. I
think that went down really well for Ding. They basically got the 110 and the IS3 down to a position where they can be realistically challenged by the T54s. They got the AMX 3090 and the T54 Holdnik and Diplomat, who are just sniping and keep the cross shots on to the Eastern Village. Now, Strong Siema, they need to you need to fast tank to basically get around the side and actually get this cap reset.
Yeah, and you can see the problem. Once the control in this map does start going in favor to Ding, they certainly want to exploit this. And now with 7 seconds left on the cap, you're going to see Stronk have to make a move, and Catch Me and Butcher going to have to commit for this one. You've got Kenny Boy there. You've got the T54 still trying to weather the storm, but look at that fire coming in. We've got 3 tanks trying to rain down those shells, and Racing now going to join in towards the battle. Butcher's going a little low, and round the back, Kenny Boy, great positioning coming into place here. The T54 on the flank. The cap has been halted, but Ding have such superior numbers, and they've actually made this work. Racing gets obliterated, and this is phenomenal stuff from them. Guccio, last man alive, left, right, and center. Players folding in. We're going to see Ding just even this up 1-1. And wow, that was far more decisive, far more well-rounded. Yep. But I have to ask you the question, where was Stronk in that? Because they didn't put players down that 0 line. They didn't seem to have that same, overall objective then. What happened?
I think that 0 line is a very key position, a very key point. If you don't get it, you can see what happened. That AMX 3090 Diplomat and Holdnik and the T54, they could just do so much damage onto Steroids, onto all the tanks that are in that Eastern Village. I did like the movement from Aojek, baiting out Meritorious. That was nice. But Meri didn't go down, Aojek did. And because Guzio went forwards in the IS3, he took so much damage. Both those 2 tier 8 heavy tanks were down to about half HP. And when Guzio does 368 damage in an entire match, there's something wrong with that tactic. So I think a little bit passive from the side of Strong Siema this time round. And nice, cross shots in general, nice adaptation, and continually keeping line of sight on each other. That's what helped Ding to win this round.
Yeah, and I think you summed up very well then that Ding just didn't, have the same threat they had before. There wasn't Racing down, at the bottom of the 0 line. He wasn't there being, a complete nuisance, stopping the cap. And then, as you said, when Ding were able to get that position, the fire that they could put towards that Eastern Village was phenomenal. You can see it right now. Stu is absolutely railed done by Hulk and Diplomat the whole game, and then, okay, Kenny Boy pushes out for the shot. Yeah. Fair enough. But I also like the play from Kenny Boy here. He was able to get himself behind the other T54 and the 50-100, playing it well, playing smart, and actually doing a lot of damage. He
knows he's got Meritorious towards his left. He knows he's got support in that area. And if the 110, the IS3 ignore him, Meri's going to be able to punish them. If they don't ignore him, they go for Meritorious and he can get the side shot and vice versa. That's that coordination and good positioning, which I think it's been lacking from Ding. I mean, these guys are coming off of 2 losses. And I think this time round, they know that they're a team that is well practiced and they seem to be doing a lot better. I mean, winning on the attack on Ruinberg, it's not the most unusual thing, but I think generally this season and Season 5, we've seen a lot easier rounds, one on the defense and on the attack.
I agree. I completely and utterly agree. But while we wait, the teams are just going to be switching sides. You guys at home, this is the perfect opportunity for you to get on Twitter with that hashtag WGLEU and let us know your thoughts on those first 2 rounds. Who stood out to you the most? Was it Ding? Did you like that play that they took control of the 0 line? Do you think their crossfire, those cross shots really paid off? Or do you think Stronk was just a little off in that one and it was all about the first round? You let us know, get involved, and of course it gives you a chance to work for that fantastic poster. Melly, has anyone been in contact yet? Do they like the look of that poster?
Yes, they definitely want it. And people, you know how to. It's really easy. Check out @WGLEU, our Twitter account, and the instruction is pretty clear. Just retweet the tweet that says retweet this tweet.
Brilliant.
Easy? Easy.
Done.
So you can do it. People already started doing it, and well, the lucky one gets it.
The lucky one. We must just wait on the lucky one.
Wasn't that Harry Potter, the lucky one? Or the one that got away? My bad.
The one that got away?
Well,
That's a Katy Perry song.
Is it? Stolen from Harry Potter, definitely. Definitely.
Oh my god.
Lucky, well, he's pretty lucky though.
What, Harry?
Yeah.
His mum and dad are dead. He's not that lucky, is he? God! Sorry, spoilers, my bad. Anyway, time for the next half here. Ding up against Stronk. I know it's in the first chapter, but still, come on. Let's see what they got in store this time, because it's going to be on the other side of things, and Stronk doing a very different style of attack here. Yeah,
so Strong, they don't like to go for the eastern side so much, and I think that it definitely pays off for them. Last time they played, I'm not sure. I think they look pretty dubious on this map, and I think they probably have gone back to the drawing board and seen, okay, we made the mistakes in X, Y, and Z, but a very spread out tactic, kind of getting every point crossed off. They got some tanks in the middle, down to the south and up to the north, and if Ding do what they do best, which to be honest is finding weaknesses in teams, they'll be able to exploit this to the absolute best.
Yeah, AOJ's already pretty much in trouble. You're going to see that T-54 chasing him down. He's down to a one-shot here, and there's so many of these players just pushing in. They've got great crossfire in it, but Butcher and Racing in a good spot. They should be able to take down Kenny Boy, but he's on the move. He's not sitting still. AOJ's going to get a tiny little bit of damage on the way through there, but that constant little bit of damage just started to work out. Kenny finally takes down AOJ, but so much commitment for just a T-37. That's not great.
And I think Shockfish and Percusiat will be able to win this one, though. The Pershing not great as DPM, and Butcher is actually, I believe, on reload in that 5100. Oh no, he's got one more shot or two, and Percusiat will be able to take this shot and take him down. Yeah,
Racing's outnumbered now 3-1. The rest of the team's trying to get there, but it's a 110 and a 1390 from pretty far away, and Mary's going to have the perfect opportunity to take that one down. So, good advantage here for Ding. They've got a lot of HP to work with, and never give up going headfirst into this. Is this a little bit crazy?
This is absolutely crazy. 3 versus 1. Even if you manage to take down Shockish, he won't be able to do the rest.
Never give up. I know your name, I can read your name, but this is just insanity. What on earth was that? Because it's just going to take him down swiftly. We're going to see Steroids outgunned here, but can he try and pull anything off? He's got a lot of shells to make, and he does have some sort of crossfire here. Diplomat's being outdone, and I think that's some team damage coming in then. And the exchange comes through, but it does leave Stronk with only 2 players now. Catch Me on 17 HP, and Guccio. What has just happened?
I don't think, Strong Siema expected Ding to be so aggressive, and, obviously Strong tried to get back into this position, but Guccio caught out in the middle.
Oh, Guccio is so down and out here, and I think he knows it. He's just going to wait that one out and just smile down the barrel of that gun as Mary will deliver the shell and Catch Me. Looking like he wants to be caught. Going to head straight first towards that eastern village, and really, Ding just kind of spread themselves out a little bit, but Stronk were everywhere on this map, completely and utterly intertwined with everything, and it just didn't work out. 4 minutes still on the board here. This was a very swift game, or at least round, should I say, as Catch Me now has 4 tanks coming his way. I don't think I want to be in his position at this point. You can see, there it is. There he's going to deliver the final shell, and, well, Ding have started to really step up their game, but I don't know if that's Stronk just making slight errors or Ding just playing better. I don't know where I stand on this.
I think Ding just overmatched in one position. They got the advantage there, and then they can move on throughout the rest of the map, also having the higher ground. But a very peculiar, I guess you could call it, tactics from Stronk. I mean, obviously, they normally play up to that northern cap with the heavy tanks. They go in with the IS-3s, the 110. They put the T-54s up there, keeping that kind of area above the cap sorted and keep it consolidated, keep it safe. But this time they went for a completely different tactic, even picking up a Pershing, and I think they tried to, maybe drag Ding into many positions or drag Ding around the map and then go for that northern cap at some point in time. But you can see here, that the T-54 is already at full tilt down in towards where those 3 tanks are. So it's going to be, even if one tank goes down here, which I believe Kenny Boy does, it's still going to be a 3-on-2 situation, and then you see Never Give Up as well in that AMX 1390 try and get into the battle. But I think he already knew by that time it was probably game over.
Yeah, his play was just very, very lackluster in my eyes, just kind of piling himself in. Of course, the odds were certainly stacked against him at that point, but now, looking at how this game's going out, I don't know if Stronk's going to do this anymore. I had a lot of faith in their play. Looking at that first round, I was like, do you know what? That's perfect. And now this? What could he have achieved here?
I don't think he could have achieved much. I think he might have been looking for one of the heavier tanks here, but he got in Meritorious, I believe, on reload there, maybe changing shell type to go on the MX 1390. But you know, he tried it and it obviously failed. I think, as I said before, it was probably already a loss by that point. You know, at the end of the day, they had one more tank or 2 more tanks alive, and also a little bit more HP plus the positions. Yeah, I think Strong knew it was game over. And I don't know. I think if they want to win this one, they need to be a little bit more consolidated. And you know, strange tactics sometimes work, but you've always got to keep the other team guessing and stretched out across the map.
Well, here we go again. We're going to have the 3090 Pershing and 110 combination. This is baffling. We saw the 110 coming out to play a fair bit, but not in this sort of lineup. Anyway, 2-1 right now in favour to Ding. They are still on the defending side. And what do we make of this? So
they're going. AOJX is going forward to try and find one of the players from Ding, and if they do, they're just going to unleash a volley of shells onto that. We've already seen that against Penta before, but obviously they don't find anything. I think the teams have already learned from that one and won't be doing the same mistake twice. So now you see Strong Siema maybe go back to what they know. That northern cap is where they're strong. They'll have the 110 and the 5100. And the Pershing, to be fair, it's not far away from being a heavy tank. I think at one point Wargaming were considering it to be a heavy tank, and they're going to be putting it up in towards that northern cap. I think this is what they know, and I think this is what works for them.
Well, I'm very interested to see if this works out, because it seems a lot more consolidated. Wow, Jesus! Well, Stewart's just obliterated someone off the entire map in the space of a second, so they've certainly got control of the north now. And I'm hoping this more consolidated side of Strong can really pull themselves back together. Once they get that sort of idea in mind, they seem far greater at actually pulling this off. And does this look good at the moment? Does this look like it's a fairly sound strategy?
I think this is a sound strategy because Ding hasn't reacted quickly enough. They don't have tanks going up north, which is obviously where Strong CM is thinking is the only weakness to their strategy, because Gucio's got some cover from behind. Also, Butcher down to the bottom left of your screens is going to provide some good cover fire without Ding even realizing he's there, so it's going to be too late, and you have some good positions up north. So I think they got all the bases covered. Caps underway, and now, you know, Ding can do one or two things. Go up north, which they'll be overmatched on, or go down south, which I think Butcher will take care of nicely. But it all just depends on if they hit the shells, and, you know, Ding obviously are a good team, but Penta lost against the strategy, so it's going to be hard. Yeah, and every single one of those T-54 lightweights just got spotted as well. Aojek did go down for it, but perfect position to spot these guys out, and you're seeing the fold coming to play already. Stronk is just so willing and ready to receive these guys. They adapted perfectly, but now they need to actually deliver the goods. You've got Catch Me and Guccio in that cap circle, the 1390 up in the north against the 5100, but there's still, what, 30 seconds on the cap, but they need to get the kills to back this up. The fire's coming in, and Mary's weighing round, Butcher's there, Never Give Up not far away, but the fire's just not coming through, and Stronk are actually getting a little low on HP. They finally put it back in, and it looks like they're going to go for a massive play towards the south here. And you can see the heavy tanks are going to push in against these two T-54s of Stronk and try and take them down. Yeah, Racing though going off on his own then, that's a little bit risky. He does manage to cross through. Catch Me starts piling in. He's down to a one-shot now, but he needs to get some damage done while he's alive. He's going to look for that reload, but no, look at this. Racing comes in to save the day. Merry at least will go down at a 1-for-1 exchange, but it's a 3-for-1 overmatch in favor to Stronk here in this western city, and these T-54s are being beaten black and blue as we're seeing Stronk coming out with superior numbers and a touch more HP. And Guccio is still alive. Diplomat and Hulknick, I mean, I already mentioned Hulknick at the beginning of the show being one of the top players for Ding along with Merry, but he's just really bad this one, and you know, Guccio staying alive with that 110, using the frontal armor of that Chinese tier 8 tank to its best ability, and you know, he might go down now, but I think it's too late already. We'll see what they can pull off. Racing is on a bit of a mission just to rack up as many kills as possible at this sort of point. It's a 3v2.
1.2k HP with Ding. We've got 1.3k with Stronk. Let's see what these guys get up to, because Stronk still are on the attack. They're the ones who need to make the move here. We've got the Pershing going towards the eastern village, kind of cutting off anyone trying to run away, so predicting that well. But will he be able to deal with Diplomat here?
That's going to be his big problem. But, you know, it also depends on how much time he buys here for his team. Oh, nice shot there. 240 average damage and hitting upwards almost 300. So nice roll for Never Give Up. But, yeah, as you mentioned, Diplomat coming from the side. It does depend on if he can take down Never Give Up or not. Once he goes down, you'll have Butcher and Racing to provide some good cover. So I think Stronk's doing it cleverly. They're doing it well. And to be honest, they're actually on their A game. This is the similar Stronk we saw against No Mercy. So they just need to play their cards right and keep the heads cool. And I think they have this one in the bag.
It's a big question, though. They're a fairly youngish team. Let's see how they do here. Cap has started. It's a long cap, bearing in mind, so it's not the main focus. They just want to make sure there's a time limit on how long Ding can wait this out. And once Ding has to make their move, Stronk should be able to receive well. But Never Give Up and Racing will be putting themselves in towards that cap circle, or at least trying to support it. And where is Hulk going towards?
I think Hulk knows that Diplomat has the eastern side, and he's just going to be trying to cross off the middle, but he has been spotted. He might be able to catch Butcher.
Brilliant shot so far. Butcher's gone a lot of damage towards him, and now we're pretty much even on HP. Diplomat does find Never Give Up, and actually, Ding are going to, well, they're going to challenge. I don't know if they're going to do it here, but Butcher's got to be careful, as has Racing, and Hulk is slowly but surely moving his way in. Diplomat as well. Butcher, though, a phenomenal player, someone of such caliber, a veteran to this. Going to be waiting to see if Diplomat pushes, and Hulk surely just going to go for Racing in this situation, if not just 2v1 up on towards Butcher. But 46 seconds, Hulk going to be looking for this shot, and Diplomat takes down Butcher. It's a 1v2 now. Somehow Ding, piece by piece, have turned this on its head, and Racing has no chance. Great play coming out from Hulk and from Diplomat. You said these were some of the players to keep your eyes out on, and you can see why. Just calm, cool, collected, and made the right plays. 3 versus 2 situation, and Ding walk away with it. Even with the hit points deficit, it wasn't a lot, about 180, but it was still a significant amount, maybe like a one shot there, here and there. But you know, Strong did a very good job against Penta in a similar 2 versus 2 situation, and they walked away with a win. This time round, great positioning by Holding, very ballsy to go forwards along towards that northern cap and make the side shells onto Butcher. Then it was this situation where it was like, okay, if I go forwards, I have the superior hit points, and as long as the other tank can't actually shoot because he's in the cap, I can actually win this situation. It was brilliant, and obviously this all stemmed from these earlier skirmishes towards the western city that kind of raged on for quite some time. A lot of damage was exchanged, and you can see at that point, you know, it was Stronk who had the HP advantage, they had the numbers, but it doesn't always matter. Sometimes you just need that little bit of brilliance, and you can get back in a game. So a big scoreline coming out for these boys very early on. Not what I expected here. No,
I didn't expect Strong to be so good, but you know, you've also got to keep this in mind. They are made up of some great players from the likes of Lucky Cracky, Evil Panda Squad, so perhaps not surprising that they are doing so well. But you can see here, right? So we got Diplomat, who's not on a one-shot, Holnick, that's not on a one-shot. Never Give Up is, and Racing is. So it really just depends on Butcher and what he does to actually win this game. Hulknick in a great position goes forwards, brings down Butcher to a one-shot or near a one-shot. And then it comes down to player skill. Diplomat gets the better of Butcher, which is super surprising because he was actually one of the best players in the whole world at one point, especially for EPS and Lucky Cracky. So yeah, this is great positioning.
Just watching this play. 2 shots, back-to-back, 600 damage dealt. Diplomat at the same time starts to adjust, looking for the shot, takes down Never Give Up. And you can see this is just wonderful synergy between the teammates. And while all this is happening, Racing's still trying to get the cap on. He's almost out of this game, out of this situation at this point. And Butcher, experienced as he is, he's now in trouble. Yeah, and also Racing doesn't have line of sight onto Butcher. Now, technically, Butcher shouldn't have lost that one because the SA-7047, which is a gun sported on the AMX 5100, only does an average of 300 damage. Butcher had, what, 338? So technically, he should have won that one. But, you know, it's a 25 plus minus, and you should always be careful, and Racing should have been there to back him up to make the shot. So I think a little bit of great play by Ding, and I like their position, especially what Hogney did, and I think Butcher forgot that his AMX 5100 is so big and so easy to spot. Well, Butcher, he, as you said, used to be one of the best players within this league, and beyond that, clearly a little bit lacking these days. But still, it's not just about us, it's about you guys at home. How are people finding this game? It's been pretty thrilling so far.
Absolutely, I can't wait for the last round to commence. And currently, the community is still backing up Stronk with 64%.
Yeah,
but it's shifting. Since it started out with over 70, if I'm not mistaken, I recall right. But now it dropped down to 64%. But people, you still have time to vote, and by simply heading over to our Facebook page and of course liking us to stay updated, you can participate in our team vote. Just choose the team you're rooting for and then predict the exact scoreline in the panel below. And we will be back after a short break, so enough time to get a drink, get a snack, and then hopefully see you back.
Welcome back to the WGLEU. We are now ready almost for map number 2, Lakeville, coming up. Something that I'm certainly not accustomed to casting, but it has been featured a long time ago, I believe, in the WGLEU, back many a season. Many seasons. What do we think of its return? Because it's the first time that we'll be actually able to see it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it. We didn't see. I don't think we saw it in WGLU or the WOT Pro League. It was known in the first couple of seasons, but we saw it in Go for WOT, Go for
series,
What. But we decided to get rid of it because it was just too campy. You could see teams up in towards the left side. They basically had an impenetrable fortress. But of course, with 754, there has to be a winner, regardless. So if you don't win on the attack, the defender will win. So at the end of the day, that's going to make the teams go forwards be a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what's going to happen because we haven't seen it in the first 2 weeks. We get to see it in week 3. We saw it in the NA scene. I think we saw it in the RU scene once or twice. But really, it's the least featured map on all the WGL leagues so far.
Really is. And apparently it has been featured at some point. I'm looking back through really old VODs. It's very strange right then. I'm never going to look at that again. It was a long time ago. Melly, if people want to get involved, their thoughts on Lakeville, for example, they can do so, right?
I'm just composing a tweet about that topic in this very second, so people head over to Twitter, join our network by following at WGLEU, of course, and then you will get all information regarding our league, regarding the teams, regarding the matches, and maybe even something nice coming up. And we have actually something that we're going to launch within the next 2 weeks, so people, you should definitely stay tuned on our social media platforms. I'm not allowed to tell yet, but
is it cool though?
It's absolutely cool.
Well, that's
what is even a question. Of course, it's cool.
I mean,
I don't know. Depends if Steven might be involved. You never know. It might not be very cool.
Well, yeah, true. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, but okay, there's a guy in our office. We all, you know the type of guy who wear the hat backwards in an office. What's all that about? Anyway, guys, back to topic. Let's give you a taste of Lakeville. So, Ollie, break down what this map is, what it entails, and what we're going to see here.
So we see Ding on the defensive side and Stronk Siema go on the attacking side. There's 2 caps, one to the east and one to the west. Obviously, the western side a little bit more high up, but immediately we see some action as Ojek in that T-37 tries to get initial position and gets taken down.
Well, I've never seen an IS-3 getting the action so early on. This is a little insane. Look at these. These tanks are just firing back and forth. You can see the T-54 lightweights trying to get the shots on. Actually, Hulk taking a few on the cross then. He's in a little bit of trouble. He's down to a one-shot, and he will be taken down by Butcher trying to make up for those previous mistakes. But explain to me this sort of setup here. Explain to me what this entails.
Well, the thing is, you do end up spawning all the way over to that right side where the 1 is. So if you want to get good defensive positions, you need to get up towards the left side. So Stronk Siema just goes aggressive. They know they have to go aggressive. They want to get an initial early advantage, even if they want to win, because the higher ground is still a massive tactical advantage, as it is in pretty much any tactical game. But anyway, Stronk Siema go forward.
Look at that. These guys are getting melted in seconds. Those T-54s are in trouble. They're in the shooting valley here. Look at this. 3 tanks looking down. Kenny's taking a little low. Stu on that little back and forth jiggle peak does finally get some damage done, but Racing is down to almost a one-shot here, and this map is providing phenomenal action. I've got to say it.
You got the 2 LTTVs doing great damage against the forwards pushing off Stronk Siema, but Ding still has a good amount of HP compared to Stronk Siema. Now, it was Ding's map pick. They did decide to pick the defensive side, which, I don't know, I think the defensive side is slightly at an advantage, even when Stronk Siema got their initial damage and that initial kill onto Hulknik, one of the star players from Ding. But I think now with those 2 LTTPs just being able to back up QCat and Meritorious, it's going to be very hard for Stronk Siema to actually peak freely and do some good damage. Also, that eastern side cap, very hard to get to, especially with Diplomat and that 251. Once you do get there, though, as long as you have tanks onto the western side and not too many in the middle, then you can actually get that cap down really low before, Ding ends up having to go in and maybe sacrifice a little bit too much.
And I'm actually really enjoying the way this plays out. I'm curious to see what Stronk really have option-wise here. They're clearly trying to look for a way through. You've got Guccio still there. Stu starting to have a little go through. But still has to be careful. Those 2 LTTBs did push up a little bit. You've got at least one still by the E line when they were previously down by maybe the J or the H. And you can see he's been a little cautious, providing a little bit of overwatch. He could get a good little bit of a shot towards maybe Mary or some of the others. And there's a lot of crossfire to be made here.
I think Strong Siema could have done with having a T54 there in the first place, because Ding wouldn't have been able to keep pressure on Gusio and Butcher so much. And also there's LTTBs who have been so far deadly going forwards. Wouldn't have been such a pain. Now Steroids is blocked down, and I think now Ding knows with Steroids out of position that they can push in.
Let's see if they do. It looks like they are. They are starting to build themselves together. That T-54 Lightweight is out on its own. And look at this. Guccio and Butcher. 3 tanks. Make it forward. Mary around the back. This is going to be a bloodbath. And these guys can get picked up so quickly. Ding mean business. Look at this. Guccio surrounded as well. And even got Stu being challenged up by the northern side. This has been a great display from Ding. They look well prepared for this map. And Stu's got nowhere to run and just goes for a swim.
Yeah, Steroids knows it's game over. Does decide to put himself in the drink. But yeah, nice first round by Ding there.
Yeah, and I've got to say, Ding look a lot more proficient in that map in comparison to Stronk. I'm kind of enjoying seeing some of the newer maps kind of favoring some of the newer teams. You see it coming through on Ghost Town as well. Some teams look very well prepared, whereas others seem like they haven't even wanted to look towards it yet. So, nicely done to Ding. They seem to do their homework, which I absolutely love seeing. And in case you blinked and missed it, check out this kill to start this off with, because it was so quick. Look at the game timer. It's 6 minutes and 34 seconds, and bam, there's your kill. That's Air Jake down. Okay, it's a T-37, but that's a big loss to start off with. Yeah,
but he had to go forward to sacrifice himself to get what would be a good kill onto Hulknick in that T-54. Not sure exactly why he put the T-37. It's a pretty quick tank, decent view range, I guess, so probably one of the better choices, to be honest. But AMX-12T would have also done being there. But you can see now Hulknick gets absolutely pinned down. Doesn't die in the first volley, but he actually gets destroyed later on. But that is pretty much where the last kind of advantageous play comes out from Strong Siema. Ding gets their kind of lines dug in, and then those LTTBs in the background just constantly supporting meritorious forwards in the IS3. So I think, you know, Ding, once they had that western side, once they gone through the growing pains of having to get them, they really were impossible to beat at that point. And great play by the LTTBs again. I was really surprised, about to bring that up next, as to how much kind of consistent damage. It's not a lot of damage, but if you hit every single shot every single time, that's a lot of damage just chipping away at tanks. And as you said, kind of crossing off and, you know, supporting and helping out anyone who's maybe in that slightly more open area. So you're seeing kind of every single piece of the puzzle seemingly working out a little better for Ding at the moment. And you guys at home didn't think this was the case. I heard Carmen may have predicted this one correctly, at least till now. I don't want to give him too much credit, because he's been pretty spot on so far this season, so I can't be too nice to Carmen. He gets a little bit of an ego, but still. Let's see if he's going to be right or wrong, because it is 4-1 currently. Ding looking pretty darn good. And look at this. Stronk look very different here. They're trying something new. Ooh, but Meritorious once again cancels out Ojek and that T-37. He's great entry kill. About 30 seconds of this map combined of the 2 goes of it so far. This guy is having a bad time. He's being ripped left, right, and center. And now look at this. Stronk already down a little bit, but they're trying to push themselves here. Yeah, they're actually doing a good job that they got so far without being spotted. Now the T-54 is spotted, I believe, Catch Me on Steroids. And now they're pretty much surrounding the whole of Strong Siema, but good initial damage onto Steroids. And maybe Strong Siema, yes, they have the lower ground, the higher ground, but the better positions are definitely in favor of Ding. And I want to see how they now use this. If Ding's maybe strategy doesn't work out, what do they go to? You can still see those LTTBs in the background providing great distance fire coming across, keeping them in line, and they're once again being herded into a corner, and shell by shell, Stronk are being taken so low here. Again, Butcher takes another shell. They've got nowhere to go. They've just got themselves backed into a corner. And the thing is, Diplomat isn't even spotted in that 251. He could basically solo the whole of Strong Siema at this point in time. Shot after shot will go into the side of them, and eventually they'll go down. But you can see Ding spreading themselves immediately around this map. They have so much confidence as Markar does take down Diplomat.
And you're just looking at Ding being so much stronger here. Strong tried to switch it up, tried something new, tried to maybe go to a position that worked before, but they are getting nothing done. And catch me a one-shot here. Rakusiet is going to come through, but it's Diplomat to pick that one up. And now the 3 tanks remaining are in trouble. And I think they know this one is over and done with. Guccio and Never Give Up just struggling to make an impact here. And Ding with over 5k HP remaining. Every single player alive. They are having a great time, and it looks like they're going to pick up the victory here as Guccio is the last man standing. And this has been your education into Lakeville, ladies and gents. The LTTB may just finish that one off. No, Mary's going to claim it, and Ding pick it up, and really impressive performance.
I think you could see how much more confident they were than Stronk Siema.
100%.
A really confident team on the defensive side. I mean, clearly Lakeville, even on 742, on random battles, it's more of a defensive kind of map than it is an attacking side. But you could see Ding, even when they were down in that first game, they came back and they did a little bit better positioning than you saw from Stronk Siema. Also the great position by the LTTBs going to the middle. You could see the 110 straight away and towards that eastern village. So as soon as Stronk Siema did something, it looked like Ding had a counter-attack for it. So they were more confident, they were more prepared, they were more trained on this map.
And I really want to see a better opponent go against Ding now and test them on that map, because I feel if a new team makes a big impression on a map like that, no one wants to play it. So they basically get a free map there.
I want to see 4 rounds, to be honest, against Ding, because I want to see what they do on the attacking side.
We barely got to see anything from them. You know, it was a very short show from them, sadly. But they played extraordinarily well, so congratulations, guys, on picking up the victory there. You certainly look like you've done your work there on Lakeville. But guys at home, this was your first official glimpse at this map. But it was short and sweet. But what do you guys make of it? Do you like this map in this sort of game mode, in this esports environment? Does it work out well? I think we've seen so far, Ding certainly like it. But Melly, the people at home are just kind of catching up now. They probably saw maybe the first round just go by. What did they make of it? They seem to be enjoying it.
Absolutely. Pretty much, I almost said no one, because it looked like no one at the beginning would have expected this ending, but it turned around actually, and it's 58% for Stronk, starting off over 70% guesstimation, let's call it that way. And yeah, people, I'm worried. Well, Carmen was right. He was predicting a win for Ding, and the community was wrong. What's happening?
It's kind of surprising, though. I mean, Carmen going against what was basically 2 losses for Ding and 1 win against a team which they shouldn't have beaten for Stronk Siema. So I think Carmen and he saw basically the actual potential in Ding, and I think it was finally into the 3rd match week where they actually kind of got a little bit closer to the potential and managed to pick up this match.
And to be fair, they are a very strange composition of players. You've got a British player in there, a German player, you've got, you know, a CIS mixture. You've got some really unique combination of players in that team. So quite an interesting one to keep your eyes on. I was about to say, you know, Carmen generally is very in touch with, you know, the upcoming scene. He knows a lot of the teams himself. So maybe he's, as you said, seen their potential and just thought, if they have the right maps, they can actually deliver here. So that's not all, though. There is still a lot more games coming today. And Melly, if people wanted to maybe...
And a poster to win.
And a poster, of course. And a poster. Sell the poster, Melly. You sell it like a champ.
I'm going to show it again, because I like it that much.
Do it.
And people, maybe you can tell me what tank is on this one. Do you guys know it? Well, you said it.
It's the most, to be fair, it's the most famous tank in the world.
I think you might be wrong.
All right.
Yeah, Thomas the Tank Engine's pretty, you know, famous.
But people, tell me what tank is on this poster. And also, don't forget to retweet the tweet that says retweet this tweet to win the poster. Brilliant. And of course, share the Facebook post that says share this Facebook post to win the poster to get a chance of winning this poster. This is actually a poster we're talking about. It's fairly easy. If you head over to facebook.com/WGLEU.
Stop creasing it.
It's stop what?
Creasing it.
Creasing? I'm just putting it
if
back
it's not destroyed by the end of today, I'll be very surprised. So you might get a creased and crumpled poster.
We'll try and make up with it by signing it. How about that?
Oh, I don't want to ruin that poster.
Oh God,
I don't want to ruin it.
True.
But yeah, people, it's really easy. Head over to Facebook and Twitter and see yourself. Just search on a timeline and the instructions will be very clear. Get your chance of winning the poster. And of course, the next team vote will be up soon. So, well, pretty much as soon as you see this. So get started voting for the second matchup. And yeah, I think we're going into a break, so enough time to get something cool to drink. Thank you for staying with us during this hot day of summer, hopefully at your places as well. Cologne is pretty much burning. But yes, we'll be back in, well, short time. See you.